joining me today.
Hey,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
So my first question right off the bat is, have you been a Republican all your life?
Great question. Actually, as a matter of fact, I walked away from the Republican Party back in 2006 once we gave them a trifecta from '04 to '06. They spent like drunken sailors and they became, basically Democrats. So I walked away from them 20 years ago after Bush and Halliburton and the Cheneys and made me want to throw up. So
what part of that made you want to throw up? What was the biggest?
Well, right after that, half this country's wealth was stolen in broad daylight, September of '08. Nobody goes to jail except Bernie Madoff, and he was stealing from his own people. Then they ushered in Obama to normalize Marxism in the United States of America, teeing it up for Hillary to do us in.
Okay. Are you religious?
I am not religious, but I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Hadn't been to church in 30 years. Christ came to me, said, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Early bird gets the worm. So I went out, got baptized, and have become much closer to him and have been attending church for the first time in 30 years.
So when they call you, because I've been at the same protests that you have been at, when they call you guys Christian nationalists, what does that do to you? What does that do to you?
It doesn't do anything to me. I mean, if anything, it kind of puts a smile on my face. I don't think there's anything wrong with either one of those. Actually combined, I think it's even a stronger sentiment, I love Christianity. I think Jesus Christ died for all of our sins. I think that he rose from the dead, and by doing so, we're forgiven if we allow him into our lives and into our hearts. And I would wish that everyone could have the same experience that I have had with him coming into my life, because it's such a wonderful and overwhelming experience. You really can't even put it into words. It's really hard to articulate how special and precious that is, but it's the most incredible thing that's ever happened to me.
Okay. What are some of the goals that you have when you show up at these rallies or protests? What's your main goal?
Well, my main goal is just to let everybody know that we're living in a red state. There's more of us than there are of them. They're marginalized. When you get down to the reality of it, their vote's never going to count in a general election because Kansas has always gone red in regards to the presidency. So these people are marginalized. So what they're doing is really more annoying, than anything else. And, it's just really the gall, just the sheer gall of these people. After they, the first administration, go back to 2015, 2016, they rigged the election, they rigged the investigation, and they rigged the impeachment process against the American people, and they lost all three. They falsified FISA warrants based upon a fake Russian dossier that was purchased by Steele, gentleman named Steele, by Hillary Clinton. That was then used to obtain falsified FISA warrants to then put moles and spies into President Trump's campaign, to illegally wiretap Trump Tower. And he tweeted out that day that his building had been illegally wiretapped by Obama. And everybody scoffed at it like it was ridiculous. No, it was absolutely true, and we know that to be true. So,
was there any proof?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
is it something that you can find online? If
absolutely,
you research it?
absolutely. And so we go all the way, back then. Then they tried to impeach him twice over what? Nothing. As a matter of fact, they were trying to impeach him over something that that they had done over there in Ukraine, with Burisma and Hunter Biden getting that sweetheart deal under the table, paying him millions and millions of dollars. And he doesn't know anything about Ukraine or energy or anything like that. I mean, he gets on a board of an energy company, and then his dad stands up there in front of the world and says, you're not going to get the $1 billion until you fire the prosecutor that's after my son. I mean, that's got quid pro quo written all over it all day, every day with an exclamation point. I mean, it's a neon flashing sign at this point. Blind people can see this for what it is. And so, so then President Trump wins. The only job that Obama had was to keep an outsider from getting in, and he failed. And it was all over as soon as President Trump put his hand on the Bible to become president. It was over. I mean, this is a military exercise that's been going on now for 60 years, since they killed, President Kennedy. It goes all the way back to Kennedy. Kennedy was going to expose everything that President Trump's exposing now. Back then.
Is that why he was killed then?
Correct, absolutely. And if you go back and you take a look at the speech that he gave before he was killed, about how he had come up with he had come across a plan to enslave us all, and talked about secret societies, and talked about these things that were controlling us. He was murdered like a week later, and so. And it's, I think the same people that killed him were basically the ones that, took us over and have been running the show ever since. And now, we've come to a point in time where, we're at a crossroads. You know what I mean? This society is very, very evil. And I think once people understand the level of evil that we're dealing with, we'll be able to do something about it.
Has President Trump done anything that you do not like, that you might disagree with?
No, because I trust him.
Okay.
There's a level of trust that I have, and I think a lot of people have. I first got to meet President Trump, or be in the same room, I should say, back in October of 1991. He was a friend of mine, Tommy the Duke Morrison, the boxer, fought Ray Mercer at the Trump Taj Mahal in New Jersey, in Atlantic City. And so that was the first time that I'd come into contact, with President Trump. And so, I kind of kept my eye on things, over the years and stuff with him, and just had just seen all the good things that he had done, for New York City with the ice rink that they couldn't figure out. He comes in, saves the day on that. After 9/11, had his own workers go down there, paid his own employees to go down there in the rubble and help out with the excavation of.
I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, he had hundreds of his employees, his boys down there, searching and trying to rescue those people down there. I mean,
so he was paying those people?
Paid for it out of his own pocket.
And nobody mentioned any of this?
No, not at all.
Was it maybe because he didn't want it mentioned?
I think so.
The whole rule of don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing?
Well, and he was a Democrat his whole life, and that's the thing. I mean, it had nothing to do with nothing. We're all Americans first. I mean, I served my country honorably, 1st Infantry Division. I was attached to the 1st of the 5th Field Artillery. I was a 31-kilo combat signaler. I raised my hand. I took an oath. That oath lasts a lifetime. That oath lasts until the day I die. And it's fighting enemies both foreign and domestic. Unfortunately, we're at a period of time where it's now domestic, and now we have to do something.
Wow, I just had, it was right there, and it just went.
Well, no, the thing that as far as Maga Legend, got it tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, I saw
Okay,
that.
so how I got Maga Legend was I did an interview going into the Tulsa Trump rally, June 20th, 2020. And it was the largest MAGA event ever. 800,000 tickets were out there. It was the first rally coming out of COVID. So he was being rebellious, and he said, no, we're going to do this thing. Everybody was like, no, Fauci, everybody, no. He was like, no, we're going to do it. So I got in my limousine. I had a limo, filled it up with my buddies. We headed on south, down south, down to Oklahoma. Hooked up with a buddy of mine who's an Indian. They call him the Native American Nightmare. And this old cat, and his name is Jason Nichols, and he's going to be a chief of his tribe here pretty quick. Anyway, so we went to his house. Well, picked him up. He's a big old boy. He's 325 pounds. We pick him up. We go to the show. Well, walking across the street, there's a beautiful black gal in a yellow dress. I mean, looked like a canary in a coal mine. I said, boy, you sure are beautiful. She said, hey, can I interview you? I said, sure. I didn't know she was a reporter. Got up there. About 30 seconds later, gave this interview. Well, I didn't know, but about probably, I'd say half hour later, next thing I know, I got people were standing in line coming up taking pictures with me. I'm like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? They're like, hey, you're that guy, aren't you? I said, what guy? I said, the guy did that interview. I said, what interview? They said, you did an interview, dude. I said, oh, that's right, I did. So they said, you went viral. I said, it's already at 1 million views. I said, you got to be kidding me. So anyways, it was weird. So we took pictures, everything like that. Well, we go into the thing. They sit me down in seat Q, row Q, seat 1. Well, I mean, I'd gotten all my information from QAnon. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff, the questions and stuff like that. You know, so I'd done a lot of digging, you know, through QAnon that got my wheels spinning in my head, and was able to do that interview. So I thought it was wild that I would sit in row Q, seat 1. I thought that was kind of, you know, apropos. So then afterwards, we get out. Well, I'm like, well, heck, man, we're gonna, you know, it's crazy, you know. So I'm heading back to Kansas City. It's already hit 2 million, 3 million. So I'm talking to my buddy AJ, and AJ works for 98.9 The Rock, and because I tried to get on Johnny's show, Johnny Dare's show. You know, me and Johnny go way back, you know, with Tommy and everything like that. And I was actually the KY 102 hippo. I don't know if you remember KY 102 or not, but anyway, I was the KY 102 hippo back in the early 90s, and so. Anyway, doing the radio thing, my hair was as long as yours. But anyway, so I called my boy AJ. I said, hey, man, get me on Johnny's show, you know, or whatever. Because I'd gone to him like 6 times, man. I said, hey, man, I got some crazy stuff going on over here. You know what I mean? Talking about Epstein Island. You know, and Johnny, he does crazy shows. I'm like, oh, man, this is pretty crazy stuff, man. I mean, you got literally your entire Democrat leadership and donor base on an island raping kids. You know, kind of weird, don't you think? So anyway, I was like, well, hell, man, let's get out there and, you know, let everybody know. You know what I mean? Well, I had no idea that, you know, he was a Democrat and all that other stuff, you know, but he turned the thing on me and then dogged me out for an entire week on his show. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, I see how that is.
So where is the proof that the Democrats were over on the Epstein Island?
Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, and the flight logs, everybody's after the flight logs, but man, don't look at the flight logs. He didn't have a freaking airport on his island.
Right.
You know? Yeah. No, look at the boat logs. The boat logs is where it's at because they got to travel to the island. There you go. Now look at that kind of stuff. Yeah, look at the entire Democrat leadership and donor base. They were all down there. You know what I mean? And let's take a look at who these people are. Let's take a look at their political beliefs. Let's take a look at what religion they think they are. You know what I mean? Let's put our eyeballs on it. Let's put a microscope on that. Because if you're touching kids, I mean, let's get real. They knew who he was, what he did, where he did it. That's why they got on his plane to fly down there and do it with him. Duh. I mean, this guy's touching kids and everybody knows it. Wasn't a secret.
Who is? You said this guy.
Yeah. Epstein.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was running a brownstone operation for Mossad. You know?
So why was he seen in pictures with Trump?
Well, because they hung out in the same circles. When you're a billionaire, you hang out in billionaire circles. I mean, it is
Lawyers
what it is.
hang out with
Yeah,
lawyers
it is
and
what
that
it
kinda-
is. You
yeah,
know what I
okay.
mean? That's why me and you are hanging out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah, you know.
Right.
I mean, we're not at their level, you know.
Right.
Not living in their neighborhood, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. You know, so, but yeah, no, I mean, and that's the reason why he belonged to his club. He belonged to Mar-a-Lago until he got caught trying to touch a girl or trying to you know, I guess, get her, you know, to do massages or something. I don't know what the you know, thing
However
was.
they
but-
did it.
Yeah. But so he kicked him out, and I think it was 2007, if I remember correctly. Maybe
So was
earlier
it Trump that I remember saying something about, oh, my daughter's hot, and if she wasn't my daughter, I would date her? Or
Yeah, you know,
something?
man, I think, yeah, and I heard that too, and I think I might have come across the thing. I mean, I think, you know, he was just shooting off the hip. It didn't mean, there wasn't any secret, you know, deal behind that. I think he was just making a point that his daughter is very attractive, and, you know, that was the point he was trying to make, not that
Kind
he
of
was-
like if you have a smart kid, you're going to talk about how their brain
Yeah, I
has
mean,
become.
yeah, it's like, man, she's so hot, you know. I mean, she's so good looking and attractive, you know. Even with me and my taste, you know what I mean. If she wasn't my daughter, you know, maybe he should have elaborated more or whatever. But everybody's going to try to pick, you know, take you out of context, which is fine, whatever.